Hey everybody, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about basically like letting kids be kids and letting them learn and explore and using the surroundings around them to create things and to not get too upset. Sorry, I'm walking through mud. To not get upset like if they're using things that you wouldn't normally necessarily use for like projects. And what I'm talking about is like, your kids see, a bottle and they want to use it for an art project, or the kids see a box from a toy and they want to use that for a project. My kids are very creative children, and it's something that basically, their entire lives, if there's been something that I've used or seen that I'm done with and they want to make something out of it, I let them go for it and use their imagination. I don't care if it turns into a mess. Now, their requirement when they do that is to then clean up the mess. But, it's something like that, letting their imagination flow and being creative is a really awesome thing. And I'm going to show you a couple things that my kids have done literally within the last, several of them have been actually today, and then there's a couple that have been over the last few days. That really kind of goes to show that, like, if you have extra stuff laying around, it's pretty cool to let your kids use their imagination and see where it goes. So let's show you some of this stuff and kind of talk a little bit more about it. So the first thing I'm going to show you is this bridge. So this is a creek that comes from that pond over there. It's by our children's fort, and the kids had originally, you can see that there's rocks here. The kids had originally used rocks to step over, but now they're using this bridge. And as you can see, my 3-year-old's starting to walk across it. But this is a bridge that they built all by themselves. They used some scrap wood that we had from other projects, and then they just built this. They built this all by themselves. I didn't even know they were doing it, but as you can see here, they have, let me get a better shot. Sorry, it's sunset, so you're gonna get my shadow in here. Okay, sweetie. So you see that this right here is a 4x4. They backed it up with, you can see there's rocks in here that they backed it up with, filled with dirt, and then they have the bridge. Now it is on a kind of like a decline, and it basically rests, I think it just rests on the ground over here. Oh nope, there's another board underneath it. So there's another small, like a 2x4, 2x6 underneath there, and this actually was filled in here. They did have this filled in as well with dirt, but over time it's just kind of eroded away. But this has been here for, actually this has been one of their longest projects. This has been here for a couple weeks now, and we've had several very large rains, and it stayed in place. Minus that little bit of washout, it stayed in place. Something else I wanted to show you is this water bottle. So this is a water bottle that I literally just finished drinking from, and my oldest daughter asked me my middle daughter asked me if I could cut out, let me see if I can get better lighting here for you guys. There you go. My middle daughter asked if I could cut out some of it, and she wanted to put some of her rubber bands that she uses for rubber band bracelets on it, and it's a guitar. Like, it's a little homemade kid guitar. So I cut that out with my pocket knife, and she put this on and did it all herself and made herself a little guitar. And this is the kind of stuff, I was just going to throw this away, and she saw a guitar out of it. This wood had been sitting in scrap piles for a while now, and the kids saw a bridge out of it. And let's go over and see the next project. Okay, so the next project that my kids did, this was actually my oldest daughter's project, is a teepee fort type thing. Again, this is all scrap wood that we had lying around in a pile. This is a tree that actually had a ton of branches sticking off of it that I kind of trimmed up a little bit. But she turned it back into basically a fort. And my middle daughter, further over by the house, she actually had a fort that she used a bunch of 2x2s and just made it herself. My husband actually screwed those together, made like a legit teepee for her. But you can see here, she used branches, dead branches that we had from probably piled up underneath this tree to fill in that wall. And then she used scrap wood. And as you can see, none of this is screwed together. This is all just stacked up on top of each other. But she figured out how to stack it up and how to brace it to where it wouldn't fall. And this is her teepee. And then over here we do have our water, our pond with a line and a bucket. And that's their water bucket to collect water from the pond. And this is, I guess, where they store it and everything like that. So as you can see, my kids have had some really creative projects over the last couple days. The teepees that they created were yesterday. The bucket water pulley system thing was yesterday as well. Then we got our guitar that was literally 10 minutes ago. And it's one of those things, guys, that you can't be so rigid in what you use things for that you can't let your kids explore. That is one of the beautiful things about homeschooling. That's one of the beautiful things about being on a homestead, is that children have different tools and things around them that they can use that can create different things. You know, forts, water catchment systems, whatever, little guitars, whatever the kids want to do. But it's one of those great things that if you let your children be children and let their imaginations just go wherever they want to go, that some really cool things can be created. And as you know, as adults, a lot of times we think so within the box that, you know, when our children are thinking outside of the box, it can kind of like push us past our comfort zone. But at the same time, we have to be willing to accept that and willing to see that and willing to like really appreciate what our kids are doing with thinking outside of the box and let their minds go there, because that's going to be one of the things, you know, as they become adults, I think those tools will be really useful to them, that they are able to think out of the box, that they are able to see, you know, a guitar out of a water bottle or whatever. And it's those kind of creative outlets that I think will really help children in general here in the future. But it's also something really good just for kids in general right now, to be able to use their imagination and to learn and grow in that way and see what does and doesn't work. I mean, it's really good, you know, basically active science projects, you know, creating a hypothesis about, you know, whether they think something will work or not, and then testing that and then retrying it and everything else. And it's one of those things that we have to be willing as parents to let them do that and let them explore and not be so stuck within our box and within our confines and within what, you know, society has said things should be. You know, that should be a water bottle and that's it, or that should be, you know, scrap wood but now it's a fort or whatever. You know, we have to let them grow and learn in that way. And it's really great because it's something that we can learn and grow from as well too, to kind of retrain ourselves to start thinking outside of the box again. But just something I wanted to share with you all. Let your kids be creative, let them have fun, especially if you're on a homestead. Let them just have at it and learn a whole bunch of new things. Hope you all have a great day. Bye.